Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna.
That's what
Hare
Babaji Maharaj would say.
Krishna Krishna Hare
Sri
Hare.
Vasadi Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Put another Sri in.
Govinda. Dandavat Pranam Maharaj.
Jai
Srila
Sri
Bhakti
Bhakti
Sridhar
Ranjan
Goswami
Madhusudan
Maharaj.
Maharaj. Keshavananda Prabhu.
Jai.
Yes. Vrindavani. Vrindavan-esque. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai. Jai Subhadra Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar Ju ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai. Shri Brajamando Purakrama ki Jai. Shri Seva Kunj ki Jai. Jai Subhadra Shri Guru Gaura Gandharva Rasa Bihari Ju ki Jai. Oh, there we go. Hare Krishna. Seva Kunj ki Jai. Rupa-nuga-dhara ki Jai. Namacharya Sridhar Das Thakur ki Jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasri. Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And Guru Maharaj is saying, Nitai Gaur Gadadhara Advaita Srivas. Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Navadip Dham ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat ki Jai. Sri Gupta Govardhan ki Jai. Sri Bila Govinda ki Jai. Ganga Devi, Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Om Vishnu Pad Vishva Varenya Srila Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Acharya Brinda ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Vinod Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai. Sannyasi Brinda ki Jai. Seva Brinda ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Brinda ki Jai. Sri Brajamando Parikrama ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande. Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj. An echo from this side of the room. Maharaj, so we are gathered in front of our temple in Seva Kunj, our Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Matan mission, in front of Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Rasa Bihari Jew, with our obeisances at their feet. And Kirtan is going on, getting ready to go to the Radha Gokulananda temple, where is the Pushpa Samadhi of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, as well as other Samadhis and deities, as we shall find out. But today is Srila Narottam Das Thakur's disappearance day. And actually it is this day, very often, most years, that we've started our parikrama, like physically, as you may say, in Vrindavan itself. This is kind of the first day, being Narottam Das Thakur's disappearance day, the day where we come together with Your Holiness Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj, leading the devotees, both in the parikrama to the temple with Sankirtan, and then at the temple of Radha Gokulananda. Then we come in, circumambulate the various samadhis, which includes which central samadhi is that of Lokanath Goswami, and so Sri Lokanath Goswami's Samadhi, and including Srila Narottam Das Thakur's Pushpa Samadhi, and Ganga Narayan Chakravarti's Samadhi is there, and Vishvanath Chakravarti's Pushpa Samadhi, we understand, is there too. So we've come, so perhaps Maharaj, we should begin just with a little Harinam Sankirtan from the devotees there with Mridanga and kartals to take us to the Radha Gokulananda temple.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya to Mahamantra.
There we are.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Krishna. Just do Nitai Gaur Haribol 2 times. Nitai Gaur Haribol, 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 Gaur Haribol. So Maharaj, perhaps Keshavananda Prabhu could say something about the Radha Gokulananda deities?
Certainly he can, Maharaj, and he knows the deities which are here, and he's a regular leader of us, of the devotees to the Radha Gokulananda temple.
That's what I should say. I follow you and Keshavananda Prabhu, and that's how I know how to go there. I follow you. And once we get there, then I have some understanding about where we are. But otherwise, I'd still be circling.
Well, we're happy to have you with us as we go through those narrow streets, Maharaj, yes.
And so I'm happy to have you. Yes. And Keshavananda Prabhu, usually with his little lati protecting along the way, and yes.
And thank you, Maharaj. And the Radha Gokulananda temple is one of those, most charming temples where it is, where it's so humble and yes, it's so humble that you could walk past very easily without knowing it. There was even a temple there. Radha Damodar also like that a little bit. Radha Gokulananda is a small door, very small door, and a little gate, and you walk through from the street into this holy and wondrous place.
Yeah. True.
And we come inside, and Tulsi Maharani is there. Then we can go left or right, left to the samadhis of the various great personalities, and right to the deities. So here we have the beautiful Pushpa Samadhi of Narottam Das Thakur. And Radha Gokulananda temple is also a little sort of hidden in some ways. It's not one of the very much visited temples of Vrindavan. Other temples, even the Radha Raman temple is very close by, and very famous temple. And of course, Radha Gokulananda also very famous to those who know something of its glories. Yeah. So often when we go there, it's a more a quieter atmosphere. Often we go there almost alone, and they have, every temple has some old Bengali ladies who are cutting vegetables and making sure everything is going on. And we have in our temple our dear Gita Didi, and also in Radha Gokulananda, and they're very happy when it's at arti time. Usually there's one or two old ladies just banging a gong, and they're very happy for us to sing Yashamati Nandana or something, and we do our arti to the deities of Radha Gokulananda very affectionately in the sweet family of Vrindavan. So I saw briefly, we saw the deities there. This is a constellation, a shining. The altar is not big. It's a small altar and a fairly narrow door. You have to try and get in to see. And then we're in front of those inconceivable deities from previous ages, and from the worshipped by the Paramahansa Vaishnavas. So on the left side is Mahaprabhu, the beautiful Mahaprabhu deity worshipped by Narottam Das Thakur himself. So he is there, so beautiful and resplendent. He's really, it's like Ananda Lila Maya Vigraha. It's this shloka, this Mahaprabhu is shining with beauty and distributing in every way. And then actually Radha Gokulananda himself, I can't tell exactly who is who here. I need to see
the picture with all the deities.
Yes, there we go. So it's hard to pick out. There's two very small deities at the front. Is Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda. And even though this is known as the temple of Lokanath Goswami, actually the Gokulananda is worshipped by Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur. How all these deities came to be here, that I don't know, but here they are. So those small deities, and behind those small ones, in the central deities behind, that's Radha Vinod worshipped by Lokanath Goswami. So of course we know this really is prominent. He is prominent here, Lokanath Goswami. And then the larger deities on our right are the deities of Baladev Vidyabhushan, that have the wonderful name of Radha Vijay Govinda, victory to Govinda. They're the deities of Baladev Vidyabhushan. So I get a tingle every time.
Perhaps after his Govinda Bhasya defeated those who challenged the authenticity of the Gaudiyas and their rights to puja, seva, etc. That makes perfect sense. The victorious Govinda, because as Guru mentioned, like Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur at the time was elderly and unable to, and it's all Leela too. So because he's elderly, he's unable to meet the challenge. So he deputes Baladev Vidyabhushan, who's technically Madhva Sampradaya, but converted by Vishvanath this way. And he praised the Govinda, because he's thinking, I'm not qualified, but praised the Govindaji to give him the inspiration. And so, because what it is and that culture, if you do not have a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, you're not considered a bona fide Sampradaya. So there's the Sri Bhasya of Ramanuja, there's other, and the, Shariraka Bhasya, Shankara. So they're saying, if you don't have a commentary on this, and these commentaries are very extensive, you're talking 1,000 pages. So and you don't have one, so we don't accept you as legitimate. Baladev Vidyabhushan, and after he praised the Govindaji, gets the inspiration, 1,000-page commentary in 7 days. So as Sanatan says, it is not I or, Kaviraj Goswami, Madan Mohan is moving my hand. So he's saying this commentary, it's not the Baladev Vidyabhushan commentary. It would be more appropriate to call it what? The Govinda Bhasya. So Govinda Ji himself, this is his commentary. I just wrote it down. But anyway, yes, continue.
Yes, well, there's one more deity there, Maharaj, that I'm sure they have a picture. We can't see exactly. It's the small Shila, Govardhan Shila, was given by Mahaprabhu to Lokanath Das Goswami. Yes, and melted with the thumbprint of Mahaprabhu, holding it so closely to him, holding that Shila close to his heart. So another wonder upon wonder, beauty upon beauty. This temple has every kind of wonder in abundance.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And, we were saying yesterday, we began at our temple in the Seva Kunja, and we were talking about nearby the Radha Damodar, not just nearby, I mean, they're, what's the word? Adjacent. I don't know if there's a better word,
Yes.
but they're just touching practically. And we're thinking, oh, we're not properly singing the glories of Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And we will try in these coming days. But when we want to sing the glories of Narottam Thakur, then automatically the glories of Rupa Goswami must come. But Narottam, and this is something to think about if we think back to the time of Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita, Sri Vaskadadhar Pandit. One by one, they're withdrawing. They withdraw from the world. You know, in our account, there is no disappearance day for Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, etc. Right? So that is dealt with in a very elusive way by the Vaishnavas. But we're told in the last years of his manifest pastimes, that as he did previously, mysteriously, Mahaprabhu would say like, Bap, Pundarik, you know, my father, Pundarik, where are you? And the devotees would think like, Pundarik, we've heard of Pundarikaksham, Vishnu, but what is, you know, they're the Jnana Shunya Bhaktas, they're so sweet, they're wondering. It never bothers them. It's just mysterious and wonderful. Our Lord is expressing these inexplicable things. And then they come to understand he's talking about Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Why is he saying father? Because Radha Baba Duti Subolita. He's enveloped in the heart and halo of Radharani. Pundarik Vidyanidhi is Vrishabhanu Maharaj, therefore father of Radharani. That is the connection. And then later, what does he say? When he sees Pundarik Vidyanidhi, no, this is not Pundarik Vidyanidhi. This is Premanidhi. There's a Vidyanidhi. Here I see an ocean of Krishna Prem. Now my eyes are perfect. My life is perfect. I see the ocean of Krishna Prem. So he goes from Vidyanidhi to Premanidhi. So in a similar way, told in his final years, he's sometimes saying, Narottam, Narottam, Naru, where are you? He's calling out the name of Narottam Thakur before Narottam Thakur is manifest. So the reason I say it is to show like on what level of love and affection and depth of heart, magnitude of heart is Narottam Thakur, that Mahaprabhu is crying out for him before he's even extant in this plane. Right? But that's on the one side, what Mahaprabhu is feeling. Like Guru Maharaj gives us the hint of this side of the equation and his description of Saraswati Thakur's leaving the world when he's saying, you know, Vrishabhanu Nandini Srimati Radharani could not tolerate separation from Nayana Mani Manjari one moment longer. So when she woke up in the morning, one particular morning, we're told like the Mangal Arati times when Radha and Krishna wake up from after pastimes, that she's saying, where is Nayana Mani? You know, the jewel of my, and take Saraswati Thakur up into that world. So here, Mahaprabhu is feeling intense separation from Narottam before he appears. That's one side, but then try to understand the other side. Narottam Thakur, how can such a devotee appear in a world and find out that Gauranga has just left, you know, wound up his manifest pastimes? What sort of heartbreak is there, right, for that quality of devotee? Like we will hear 500 years ago, and then for Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you know, it was 400. For someone else, it was Vishvanath, 300, you know, 200, 100. Narottam, what if you're told it was a few years ago that Vrindavan Das Thakur in a similar situation, saying like, we just missed, like, how is this possible? And what it does is it makes their separation and the level of prema and love and affection in their heart all the more intense. It's just intensified hankering. So that Narottam Thakur, as Guru Maharaj said, interestingly, I mean, he uses the word eliminating, but it's just Guru Maharaj. He says, eliminating Jiva and Gopal Bhatta, he goes to Lokanath, He's just saying it's interesting to observe. So then you're saying like, who is this Lokanath Goswami? Because if we're like Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami are still within the world, and he's going to Lokanath, then we shall say it is not to slight Jiva Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, but rather to give us a hint of the exalted nature of Lokanath Goswami Prabhu, right? Who, and I mentioned this the other day, like we hear from Guru Maharaj, he's in a particular plane. And what is that? The depths of Krishna consciousness, Krishna Prem, Gaur Prem, right? So much so that, he has his only earthly possession really is like a water pot, besides at a certain point, the deities. That's not an earthly possession, right? Even his water pot is worshipable to us. But after he drinks water, he turns it upside down. Why? Because someone might come and say like, could I have a sip of water or a drink of water? And you're saying, well, I thought the Vaishnavas are like so Vancha kalpa trubhyascha kripa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And he's turning his water pot upside down so that he won't have to interact with anybody. Is he a cruel man? He's not patita pavana, he's not a kalpataru and a kripa sindhu. Or is there something else to be understood from this? When Daka felt insulted by Mahadev Shiva, then like, hey, I'm your father-in-law. You can't, greet me. And Mahadev, the famous verse, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Shiva's response is like, no offense intended, but you have to understand, I'm so deep in this other plane, I'm oblivious to what's going on in this world. So there was no offense intended. I wasn't trying to insult you. I was actually unaware. Why? Because I'm so deep in this other plane. Guru Maharaj's expression, dive deep into reality. It tells us a few things. One is reality has levels, right? And then there's like shallow reality, mid-level reality, deep reality, iha bahya age kahoar type, that's external, go deeper. There are many things to consider. Iho hoy age kaho, go deeper. That's Guru Maharaj with the pearl moon. You see how his fingernails look like pearl moons. And then there's one pearl that Gurudev gave him on his finger, so 11. And I like to say in the poem that the pearl, seeing the pearl moons of the lotus hands of Srila Guru Maharaj, feels ashamed and defeated because he's lesser than the pearl moons of the lotus hands of Srila Guru Maharaj. But I digress. What was I talking about? Oh, Lokanath Goswami, whether he's insensitive or not merciful. Right? And again, he's not going to initiate anyone. I think, what do you have to do in this world to get a break? Right? So here's who's like a parshad of Mahaprabhu. Right? He's Krishna consciousness personified. And then like, all right, And what's his position? I will not initiate anyone. And I will keep my water pot turned upside down so I don't have to interact with anybody else in this world. But maybe it means he is some special type of Vaishnava and has some special seva. Maybe such Vaishnavas like he, Gorka Shordas, Babaji Maharaj, maybe there's only one person who's really qualified to be their disciple, right? But if that, when that connection takes place, then miraculous happenings results. So, but Narottam Thakur, bypassing Jivan Gopal Bandha, he's determined to get the mercy, to show what an ocean of mercy he is, and what a Kalpataru he is, and a Patita Pavan he is. And so what we do, just Swahaste Marjanam, like Ishvara Puri, what is he doing? We're told, cleansing his stools in his final days, right? And we're told that's what qualifies him. And he goes like, these are unpleasant topics, right? But what is it in theory we talked about yesterday? The greatest magnitude of eagerness for the least aspect of seva. What could be more least, less least than that, right? So we're showing the greatest magnitude, the Narottam Thakur, this is the Narottam Paribar, which later evolved to Bhaktivinoda Paribar, but before that, the Narottam Paribar, it's his line. And this, he's on his hands and knees. And the jungle, these Vaishnava, when we go to these places now, they have beautiful domes and buildings and ashrams. Not so in the time of the Goswamis and Lokanath Goswami and such. It's basically what Guru Maharaj would call the jungle. Right? So they stay in some holy place, and say the like the radiation of those divine pastimes is still active and that perceivable by them. So they're there deep in their meditation, and they somewhere in the periphery in a forest, they go to answer the calls of nature and such things. So Lokanath Goswami, he's that type. And that is, by the way, that's how Chaitanya Saraswati started. You know, that's the situation with Guru Maharaj in the beginning days, with him and Satish Prabhu, and visited by the donor of the land, Sakhi Charan. And there's some pastimes there as well, but not appropriate at this moment. But I'm just saying, it was very, you know, Guru Maharaj and Satish Prabhu, they cleared the land. Gurudev told me Guru Maharaj was drinking copious amounts of dal in those days for the, you know, they were both out there and intense physical labor. But anyway, so Lokanath Goswami goes to the jungle area in the pastul, and then he notices like the place is like spotlessly clean and very beautifully arranged, even though it's a jungle. It's very odd. And it happens all the time, perfectly regular, and it leads into the point and you go like, what is this? And he asks the others, and they say, oh, there's some boy who comes by and he does this every, you know, it's like he considers it his seva. You say, what? And so Narottam Thakur, he's trying, really it is seva, but also he's trying to convince Lokanath Goswami that he's a worthy recipient of his ocean of mercy and all those other wonderful things, until at last, because he's also heard that Lokanath Goswami about, he won't accept any disciples. Right? So finally they meet, and of course, Lokanath Goswami, this captures his heart. He realized how serious he is. This least, the thing that people would find totally objectionable, undesirable to the extreme. Happily, the boy engages in this and considers it his seva to his Guru Dev. So in that way, he captures the heart of Lokanath Goswami, and he initiates him, and as Guru Maharaj like to say, so he has one disciple, Narutom. How many disciples does Narutom have? Guru Maharaj would say, 100,000, because he can not only convert, we know the stories locally, Bhakti Ratnakar, where he said, he converted the entire state of Manipur. When I first went to India in December of '73, we had this opportunity to go to Manipur. When we were going up the steps of the plane, we were stopped, but it was forbidden at that time. And we didn't have visas or anything, but we were going there, and we were told we would be received by the people, and that everyone there in the town wore tilak, the Naratam type, that this is in 1973, everybody wore tilak. They were still under the influence of Narottam Thakur and his songs and his line of thought. Right? Hare Krishna. Samadhi of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. So, and that Narottam Thakur, who Mahaprabhu was feeling so much separation from, we know as a trio, Narottam, Srinivasacharya, Keshavananda Prabhu, how they were sometimes together, and then they go off on their separate missions. At one point in, Keturi Gram, Narottam Thakur installs sets of Radha Krishna deities there. Right? Because we were thinking about this recently as we prepare to invite Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar to ascend the Shingosan here and continue with their seva. That and this causes so many servitors to come together and employ their varieties of skills to serve the deities in their manifestations. So I was saying, oh, what might that have been like in those times? If we consider all the murtiwal and the dressing, the shringa, everything. But what is astonishing, most astonishing, Guru said, where prakat and aprakat meet. Prakat means manifest, aprakat means unmanifest. But footnote, unmanifest doesn't mean like nothing in Vaishnavism. Aprakat, it just means not visible to the prakat world, right? But maybe visible to others, right? Different. So don't think unmanifest means nothing, or no, just not apparent, right? From manifest, so he's saying this is the prakat world, aprakat, where we told Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivastava, they've all, their pastimes are no longer manifest here in the aprakat plane, they're continuing on. So how wonderful is the kirtan of Narottam Thakur, that for these deity installations, and Janava Devi is there, the consort of Nityananda Prabhu. They're having the kirtan, Narottam's having his kirtan, the Narottam gun, all those songs, and it's so extraordinary. Guru Maharaj said, so from the aprakat, unmanifest world, they manifest and they see within the kirtan of Narottam and the devotees, Mahaprabhu is there dancing, Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur, the Pancha Tattva appear in the kirtan of Narottam Thakur. So that's inconceivable. But the Krishna consciousness is all about the inconceivable, conceiving the inconceivable. by the grace of our Sri Guru Varga. So, and I want to say more about Narottam Thakur, but Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur is coming to mind because we think of the Gurvastakam, his song. So Narottam has so many songs, and really, again, Srila Guru Maharaj says, like there's the Siddha plane songs, like Radha Krishna Pranamur, and the more the sadhaka song, Nitai Pada Kamala Koti, and these songs that are more accessible for the devotees and recommended for daily practice. Hari Harai Nama Krishna. Right? Remember, that was the first kirtan of the Panchatattva. In the what do you call it? Nagar San Kirtan, led by Nima, that, or in the house Sriva Sangam. Nimai Pandit was saying Hari Harai Nama Krishna Yadava. But Narottam finishes that again. But Guru Maharaj is saying, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his songs, most of them, like you said, the Sharanagati songs ticked off by Guru Maharaj, learned by Srila Gurudev within a week, 20, 30 songs, mainly for the sadhakas on a daily basis. And a few songs like Ami, Swananda, Sukhada Kunja, these type songs are in the Siddha plane. So he's saying, fewer songs like that, mainly the other songs for the daily practices. Narottam sort of an inversion, many of these songs that are in the Siddha plane or for the Siddha section. Right. But Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur, we have this song, right, the Gurvastakam. What is it? Sung by every devotee every day of their life in every temple we have. So how perfect is that? But in light of what we just said about Narottam Thakur, the line comes to mind, Mahaprabhu Kirtanan Nritya Gita Baritramadran Manaso Rasena Romansa Kampasru Taranga Bajo Bande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. He's saying about Sri Guru that always in the mind of Sri and heart of Sri Guru is the kirtan and the dancing of Mahaprabhu. Who comes to mind when I think of the person who dances with his hand and saying Gaur Haribol? Srila Guru Maharaj is incessantly the author of the Prema Dhamma Deva Stotram. He is madly thinking about Mahaprabhu and his kirtan and his dancing. He likes to say, Mahaprabhu Gauranga Sundara Nagarabara Nittam Nijer Namabi. How he's, the best. Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur says this, and the Chaitanya Chamdramata, Guru Maharaj modified it a little bit, like made it extra sweet. But Nagarabara, in one sense, means like the best citizen of the town. That would be a horrible rendering, I think, but it's very hard to express. But it's saying like he's happily as one of the people of Navadvip. Krishna has appeared in Navadvip, Gaura Hari. And what is he doing? Mahaprabhu Gauranga Sundara, Gauranga Sundar. Guru Maharaj could sit and just say Mahaprabhu Gauranga Sundar over and over and over. He could just chant Mahaprabhu Gauranga Sundar indefinitely, indeterminately. There's evidence of this. If you hear, just sometimes that's what he just does for an uncertain amount of time. Mahaprabhu Gauranga Sundara. It means that's what he's seeing internally, is the beauty of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. When Guru Maharaj asked me once, at the time we had 3 books, like Search for Sri Krishna, Reality the Beautiful, Sri Guru and His Grace, Golden Volcano, maybe Loving Service, but at least, and he said to me, like, which is your favorite? And I just went, like, I can't answer that question. And also I thought, what if I say the wrong, and I just could not and would not, and thank the Lord that I did not. But before I could say, Guru Maharaj saw, I was just dumbstruck. He said, and I said, and with the bashfulness of a teenage girl who has a crush, a heavy crush on someone, Guru Maharaj, he said, Golden Volcano. He's blushing and then I went like, of course, Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Sundara Nagarabhara. Then what is he doing? Nittam Nijar Namabi. He's eternally taking his own name and dancing, right? So that's what Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur is giving this vision of him. And all those slokas, Nindantam Pulakot Karena Vikasam, Nipa Prasunatstavim Prodrikrita Bujadvayam Hari Hari Ituchai Vidantam Muhu Nitantam Drutamasru Nirjara Chaye, streams of tears. Sinchantam or Vitalam, the ground becoming soft and muddy from all the tears streaming from his eyes while he's chanting the name of Krishna. Sinchantam or Vitalam, Gayantam Nij, singing, Nija Parashadai with his associates. Who are they? Nitai, Gaur, Gadadhar, Advaita, Srivas. Sinchantam Urvitalam, Gayantam Nidya, Parasadai Parivritam, Sri Gaura Chandram, Numa. So, what is the Premadama Stotram? It's Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nritya Bharitra Madran Manasora Sena. Saying his mind is just constantly filled with Gaur Rasa. What do I say? Romancha Kampas Ru. And when he's doing it, sometimes his hairs are standing on end, his voice is trembling, his body is experiencing different types of ecstasy. This is the 2nd verse of the Guru Vastakam. Why is he saying this if it is not true? Why would he say that? Why would we sing a song every day if it is not true? It must be true. Right? And then we can invert what that means. So we understand. He's saying, Bande Guru Sri Charanara. This sort of qualification is someone who's mad about the singing, dancing, the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? That's why Srila Gurudev, in his parsing of the Rupa-manjari-pada song of Naratam, which we'll hear something from Srila Guru Maharaj, Madhusudan Maharaj, I took a nice little excerpt. I recommend everyone here on the website, he's got the link for the whole thing, but which I listened to today, he listened to, but we'll play a little bit just to hear the divine voice of Srila Guru Maharaj and the feeling with which he expresses these things. But Srila Gurudev, his move, because of say, say vrata, say tapa, say mora mantra japa, we can say that it means let the object of my mantra, my japa, my vrata, my tapa be the service of the holy lotus feet of Rupa Goswami. Guru Maharaj is saying everything converges there for Naratam in this song, and the lotus feet of Sri Rupa. But I just wanted to preface this by saying, for Srila Gurudev, he will say, the service of the lotus feet of Srila, because it becomes Guru Maharaj, the Rupa-nuga-dhara. The service of the lotus feet of Guru Maharaj is his mantra, his japa, his tapa, his vrata, is everything. Right? That's how he personifies that. But Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj comes down 3-4 times a year. Gaur Purnima from his veranda. Gaur Purnima, well, Saraswati Thakur's appearance day, Gaur Purnima, Radhastami, and his Vyas Puja. They bring him down. With Srila Gurudev at his side eternally. Hare Krishna. Oh, so what I wanted to say was that when we're hearing Guru Maharaj explain the Sri Rupa-manjari-pada, I think again of things that he has said in other regard. We're talking about the Yeyanilo Prema Dana, the song of Naratam for the departed Vaishnavas and Acharyas, that said that once someone was singing this in a particular way, and Banshidas Babaji Maharaj said to them, if you had any feeling at all for the meaning of that, you couldn't sing like that. In other words, they're just, or singing it in some nice way or more. Like that melody is called Viraha Giti. Okay? And it's only for these things. So once on the veranda in Calcutta, Srila Gurudev, he hears someone singing Viraha Giti melody with another song, but like on a and it wasn't contextually proper. It created a disturbance in his heart. So segue from that to Banshidas, hearing someone singing that very song. And he said, if you had any feeling at all for what is being expressed here, you couldn't do that, what you're doing. So what does that mean? We hear that in the last few months of his life, Srila Saraswati Thakur, because tomorrow, Judge of our Maharaja's appearance day, that he had him singing like Astakalya, Leela types, these higher songs. In the last 3 months, he was hearing this, and Judge of our Maharaj was asked to sing them. Right? And he would also sing Sri Rupa-manjari-pada every day. It was in Puri, and then it moved gradually towards Kolkata, ending up in Mayapur. But that's on one particular level. But we know when the time came of the actual disappearance of Srila Saraswati Thakur, every day as Judge of our Maharaj doing this. Right? We also know Srila Puri Maharaj, he is considered expert singer. Right? And Saraswati Thakur is about to leave the world. And within the last 24 hours of his manifest pastimes, and he wants to hear the song Sri Rupa-manjari-pada of Narottam Thakur, but he asked to hear it from Srila Guru Maharaj, from Srila Sridhar Maharaja, who, in his own words, would describe himself as a backward pushing man. Like when I found this one picture of him, the Madras Gaudiya Math, like Guru Maharaj is in the back row, and he said, see, like this picture is evidence of what I'm telling you. Like always not wanting to be in the front, always in the back. Similar to when Mahaprabhu is introducing Rupa Goswami, they have to push him forward. He's somewhat hesitating. Guru Maharaj is like that. So Saraswati Thakur asking, and Guru Maharaj hesitating out of his humility. So Tirtha Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Bilas Tirtha Maharaj, otherwise known as Kunja Babu at the time, tells Puri Maharaj, you sing. Because he knows he's a good singer, and he starts singing. And he himself would tell this story. That's what I say, to underscore his, you would think like he would not, no, he's the opposite. He wants everyone to, he would excitedly, happily tell this story. As once to me as well, and point in front of Guru Maharaj, and was going like this, and Rupa-nuga-dhara, Rupa-nuga-dhara. And I was unfamiliar with that. And I said naively to Guru Maharaj, I said, he's saying you are Rupa-nuga-dhara. What does that mean? And Guru Maharaj, the one who's carrying the current of Rupa Goswami. And I was like, But anyway, Saraswati Thakur stops him from, remember, he's an expert singer. He stops him from singing and said, I don't want to hear the sweet tune. And then he said, I only want to hear from his lips. I mean, the person who's realized this, who has this feeling in their heart can sing this. And that is Srila Guru Maharaj. Right? And of course, so, but Guru Maharaj, to adjust these things and not cross the boundaries of what's unacceptable in Vaishnavism, like self-praise or self-certification. So when these subjects would come up, Srila Guru Maharaj would say, as Srila Guru Maharaj said, what we witnessed was a mystic power transmission of the Rupa-nuga line from Saraswati Thakur to Sridhar Maharaj. For those who had the eyes to see, that's what they witnessed, this transmission. Right? But Guru Maharaj, he would say, they are saying, that's how he would say, they are saying at that moment, he was given entrance into the group of Rupa-manjari. And then Guru Maharaj would say, I rather like to think posted at the gate. Right? Because remember, I suggested Bhakti Rakak for English people speaking could be guardian of devotion. And he and Gurudev happily accepted that. So Guru Maharaj said, I rather say posted at the gate to decide who will enter and who will not be allowed to enter. And we're like, and Guru Maharaj said, and I'm not allowing anyone and everyone. But that said, I add to this that Srila Gurudev, he will not think gatekeeper. He will say, no, inside. And that's as should be. That will be the appropriate. But what I mean to say by saying all these things is that when I came to the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj, you could feel this shift internally. Back to Vishvanath. Sakshadari tena samasta shastre uktastathabhavyateva sadhi. That we're just utterly, exclusively Krishna focused. I mean, it's the Krishna consciousness movement. You could forgive us for being so, right? And we just thought Krishna is there in the center, and then there's Radharani and other, we're like, we're the Krishna people, right? Happily, we are Krishna loving people. I mean, and our aspiration and servitors of his servant, So, but coming in connection with Srila Guru Maharaj, just like Vishvanath was saying, Mahaprabhu, Kirtan. Why does he say that already in the second? Why there? First, we understand the first part where, the blazing fire of material existence, you're being rescued from that. Then verse number 2, Mahaprabhu, Kirtan, and then the Sri Vigraha and 3, 4, 5 before you get to Radha and Krishna, and some also very high, in 6, Nikunjayuno, right? Like, well, but Mahaprabhu first, right? So coming in connection with Srila Guru Maharaj, the shift, an observable, internally observable felt shift would take place when you realize, like, it's going toward, Kintu Prabhoya Priya Evatasya. Prabhu Priya, now Guru is being seen as the one who's most dear to Krishna. And of all of those who are dear to Krishna, who is most dear to Krishna? Srimati Radharani. So then you're saying, ultimately Guru, the Ujjvala Rasa Acharya is Srimati Radharani according to the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Right? And her assistants, servants, etc. This is the Rupa-nuga line, what's being described, indicated by Narottam Thakur. So certain impressions would come in association with Srila Guru Maharaj. So once sort of thinking out loud, I was saying, like, then what would be the ultimate achievement of a Tatastha Jeev? Forget all the Brahmajyoti stuff for a minute. Because I know people love that. They love to play in the Brahmajyoti. Or play out of the Brahmajyoti, I guess is more. The Brahmajyoti and the Virojan, where this becomes like, just that's there, but a little, So I was just thinking, what is the highest achievement of a Tatastha? How high could they go? Just sort of thinking out loud in the presence of Srila Guru Maharaj, and I was saying, like, third, and Guru Maharaj, he goes, fifth. And I went, oh, because I wasn't counting Radha and Krishna, 1, 2. So that's why I said 3, even 5. And Radha and Krishna. Then who we have next to Radha and Krishna in third position? Lalita Vishaka. Right? Fourth position, Rupa and Rati. Fifth position, their assistants. Right? So now when someone will hear, like, well, that sounds somewhat removed. Right? Well, if you think about, like, the ultimate reality, first of all, Radha and Krishna, right, at the center of the ultimate reality. Right? Then one will naturally gain some respect for those who are close to them, like Lalita, Vishaka, or in Gorlia, Swarup Damodar and Ramananda. Right? You mean these next to Radha and Krishna are these personalities? We're thinking of Baladev and, and universes and Mahavishnu, and who's there in the intimate position? Swarup Damodar, Raghunath Das Goswami, whom we're hearing. These associates we're hearing of today, they occupy very central positions there. But still, the mind was thinking, like, oh, somewhat removed from the center. We're always suspicious that we're being duped into accepting something lower than what we could aspire to. That is our foolishness and misunderstanding, right? So Srila Guru Maharaj, in explaining just part of this Sri Rupa-manjari-pada song that Narottam Thakur is saying. I say one man saying like, why Rupa? I mean, and Rupa, why? There's Radharani and then Lalita. Why so much emphasis being put on Rupa, Sri Rupa-manjari? Why is Narottam Thakur giving this kind of emphasis? And why is this being called the Rupa-nuga line? Right? And we say, oh, for those who need to be, kept at a distance, or I mean, is there some other thing at play here? Why shall it be like that? Then, in Guru Maharaj, I'm just saying, because he's explaining in the song, and this is the disappearance day of Narottam Thakur. He's saying that, and he told at that time that, so he's saying, yes, there's Radha and Krishna, and we hear Lalita Vishaka, and they're called Sakis. They're in age similar to Radharani. So that means on a certain level, they could be considered competitors. Right? He's saying, but the juniors, the really younger ones, they're have a non-compete clause, so to speak. Right? So that means he's saying when Radha and Krishna are deep in their divine pastimes, these actually superiors, they cannot enter there at that time. It'll create some awkwardness. But who can go? The juniors. Who is the leader of the juniors? Sri Rupa-manjari. So what Guru Maharaj is saying, what seems like a lesser position, inconceivably becomes a higher position that you could possibly imagine, right? In the Rupa-nuga line of service. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur, like we're doing Brajamandal Parikrama, we're told, so did Saraswati Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right? The Goswami, they're doing it, aren't they? Right, Mahaprabhu is doing it. Nityananda Prabhu is doing, it's Narottam Thakur, Srinivasacharya. They're all so. And we say this, with folded palm, bowed head. But when Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if he said it and Guru Maharaj reiterated it, then we can say it. And it seems like the most absurd thing to say on the Brajamandal Parikrama. But when Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, we all know Vrindavan is for the hollow, shallow thinkers. There he is. See this picture, Gurudev said. And to think, he's a 14-year-old girl in Vrindavan. So what is Guru? What is the divine form of Sri Guru? What eyes does it take to be able to look at Bhaktivinoda Thakur in this way and think like that? What heart does it take to see that and to smile and say those things? And that Bhaktivinoda thing. And what does he mean? He's saying because Vrindavan is the land of union. That's what it's famous for. This is what he means. We don't mean to even remotely diminish the prestige of Vrindavan. But what he's saying, being the devotional expert he is that separation draws greater remuneration, service and separation. And we're like, how wonderful is that? That's the only realistic possibility that's available to us. And it turns out not to be the lesser thing, but the higher thing. That's the nature of mercy. And we're running in the wrong direction, right? So what does Gurudev say about Mahaprabhu? What is his tasting matter? It's separation. Krishna knows everything about union. He's Govinda, right? What is that? Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambrahma Sevyamanam. In the Vaikuntha world, one Lakshmi for one Narayan, right? Krishna world, Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambrahma Sevyamanam. A lakh of Lakshmis for one Krishna. A billion Lakshmis for one Krishna. A trillion Lakshmis for one Krishna. He knows more than we can ever imagine, dream in all time and space about the joys of union. And what does he descend to taste and experience? The joy of separation. Bahe Vishajalahoy Bitare Anandamoy Krishna Premer Adbhuta Charit. Right? The wonderful, astonishing quality characteristic of Krishna Prem is this. Right? That's what he's come to taste. So, why did I say that? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So to get to this point, so in a roundabout way. So then you say, and remember, and Guru Maharaj said, when he heard Saraswati Thakur repeated, we realized this is, an outrageous statement, to make, if it's not Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Right? But so when Saraswati Thakur tells this to his disciples, they're not thinking, oh yeah, I know that, yeah. No, what does Guru Maharaj say? It was as if I fell out of the top of a tree. Have you ever fallen out of the top of a tree? I have. It's rough, a rough landing. And that's what Guru Maharaj said. That's how he felt. Like, so they're good. And he said, our Guru Maharaj's expressions were mostly revolutionary. He's saying, not, they were like pretty standard. And then every now and then he'd say something that was really mind-blowing. No, he's saying, what he was saying was mostly revolutionary. And what kind of demand do you think that put upon the hearts and minds of his disciples? Right? You've got a 3 lakh a day, so-called Mahaprabhu, Siddha Purush, and he's saying, hey, he's an infant class Vaishnava. He's a baby. Really? Everyone in Vrindavan thinks he's the one. Right? Dismissed. Right? So mostly reverent. So he hears that. And then Jai Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This picture, when we put in Search for Sri Krishna, he said, I took a risk and put, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur declared totalitarian war against illusion, including all other religions. Right? And I thought, like, well, we're going to find out. Because usually it should say, founder in charge of Sri Gaudiya Math and missions. Something like that. But instead I put that. He declared totalitarian war against Maya, illusion, and all other existing conceptions of religion. And when Guru Maharaj said that, he said, like, bah! He said, if you didn't say anything else, our Guru Maharaj is fully represented there. So that Saraswati Thakur, then he explained this, and Bhakti is saying, and so what does Bhaktivinoda say? A man of real bhajan will prefer Kurukshetra. I mean, well, what are we doing on this Brajamandal Parikrama? Talking about these things. Look, the only people we really know who live there have told us this. That's how we can repeat it with confidence and audacity, you could say. But so he said, don't worry, it has a happy ending. That much I'll say. So then he says, the man of real bhajan will prefer Kurukshetra. And they go like, oh, you mean Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, Kurukshetra? No, that's no. But when Krishna, queens of Dwarka, they come in, and Radharani and Braja Gopis come from Vrindavan on the plea of doing auspicious activities during the solar eclipse at that time. Right? 100 years separation. Atadiyad bhavan anikananam. Trutir yugayate tamapashatam kutila kundalam srimokam jate. Yadu Udikshasham, Pakshmakridrasham. The Braja Gopis are cursing. They're teenage girls and they're very nice. They don't normally misbehave or criticize anyone. And they're cursing Brahma, the creator, the audacity. And they're saying like, he doesn't know how to make eyes. They keep, what is this? This blinking. We're looking at, Achintya Guna Swarup of Shama Sundar Krishna, and then the blinking comes. What a fool. He doesn't know how to make eyes. Right? So, who cannot tolerate the blinks of an eye of separation from Krishna? Right? Remember, the Rasa Leela, a night of Brahma, did not satisfy him. No amount of union will satisfy a devotee. Right? Gurudev, this is in Religion of the Heart, published by Bhakti Premik Siddhanti Maharaj. Gurudev something goes, Maharaj, I said, Maharaj, when you're like giving that substance, he's catching it and capturing it. And I said, there are things in this book that are not in Charitamritam, right? Shamanam and such things. Anyway, that's where Gurudev quoting Chandidas or Vijavi, that song says, no amount of union will ever satisfy the devotee. A night of Brahma was like the blink of an eye. But the blink of an eye in separation is like a day of Brahma. So it says separation even more intense. So who cannot tolerate the blinking of an eye's worth of separation after 100 years meeting again in Kurukshetra? Right? And so Guru Maharaj says, what does he extract from Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying, and what came to him from Srila Saraswati Thakur? As usual, something original, right? These original things come from Guru Maharaj. Remember, he's the one who said about his Guru Maharaj, one of the things I liked about him, he was not vomiting what he heard from others. Right? Those are the words he used. When Guru Maharaj uses a word, it's precise. Remember, Mark Twain said the difference between the precise word and an acceptable word is the difference between a lightning bug and a lightning bolt. He was not vomiting what he heard from others, but giving something fresh. That's what Guru Maharaj said. So, and then what does Guru Maharaj freshly extract from there? One of his maxims saying that service according to the intensity of its necessity draws remuneration. Right? Service according to the intensity of its necessity draws remuneration. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the expert, said that is the greatest necessity point for Radharani from service from her group. After all this separation, and then there's Dwarka Krishna, and then the disappointment. No Shama Gopa Rup, no cowherd dress, no flute, no. What sort of Krishna is that? Like heartbreaking disappointment. And he's saying at that point, separation has reached its zenith point, and she is in the greatest necessity of assistance and service from her attendants. And so Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, if you can render service at that time, then he said, there is no danger of ever coming down to this plane ever again. And then what does Guru Maharaj again extract from there? Saying, so back to how far can a jiva go, considering the constitutional capacity of a tatastha jiva? They're told in that sequence of Rupa Goswami, Prem, Bhav, Mahabhav, etc., as high as Bhav in the higher rung of cowherd boys or the general, the Braja Gopis. But Mahabhav reserved for Radharani, Mahaprabhu, right? But here Guru Maharaj says, but if one can do service at that time, even from the assistants, the service, he said, then Radharani is so happy and grateful out of gratitude to those who do this service. She's saying, she has a plate of Mahabhav and says, here, have a taste of what we're relishing. And Guru Maharaj said, once one has a taste of that divine substance, what to speak of all other taste? All other rasas become tasteless. So, in conclusion, so when Narottam Thakur is telling everyone, you know, this is the Rupa-nuga line, Sri Rupa-manjari is the chief, the top of all those who could have this sort of service aspiration, right? That becomes the seed of the being initiated into this line. That concept, embracing this concept fully, becomes, that is the connection with this line. And that's what's being extended by Srila Guru Maharaj, recognized by Srila Saraswati Thakur. And you'll hear now just a little bit of where he's explaining the song, Jyoti. Yeah, this is Guru Maharaj. He is explaining each line of Sri Rupa-manjari-pada, but he gets to the point where, and you just see the intensity of Narottam Thakur, the exclusive focus on the lotus feet of Sri Rupa-manjari. And then he's saying, and those lotus feet, they're shining like inconceivably beautiful, radiant moonlight. And he's saying, and my heart's devotional aspiration is like a type of lotus that Guru Maharaj said, there's the red lotus and the white lotus, the kumud and the other one. And when they combine, the kuvalaya means this kind of pink, a mixture. He's saying, and that particular lotus is nourished by moonlight. And in the beauty of the poetry of Narottam Thakur, he's saying, let the lotus feet of Rupa-manjari, their radiance nourish the lotus of my devotional heart's aspiration. So, without further
what beauty, what sort of high-class beauty is there in her holy feet. I want to jump. If my heart be a lotus, and the lotus kuvalaya, the two classes, the kumud, the red lotus and the white lotus. White lotus fed from sun and red lotus from the moon. The kuvalaya, the mixture, and day and night, that his heart, luster of our body, will feed me day and night. My the life of my life, which compared with the lotus, Ubolaya, and Ubolaya is fed, is nourished by the luster of moon, and the hard feet is the moon, holy feet, and my very vitality is like lotus compared. Dana Gokula is Rupa-madhuri Rasi, the beauty, luster of her beauty, may maintain, may nourish my heart of hearts. Dana Gokula is Nirveduna, Madhuri Rasi, Prana Gokula is Prafullito Have Nishidini, and the lotus of my heart will grow by that ray and dance. Prana Gokula is Nirveduna, Siddhupamadhu. Rupa-madhuri Rasi, Prana Prafullito Have Nishidini. Twadar Sunohi, This is my prayer.
Yajavar Maharaj is by his side. So when Guru Maharaj is thinking of a line, that's Yajavar Maharaj in the background saying that, and remember, he's the one, I mean, it's just so beautiful. And then he's saying, like, Narottam, how can he write something so beautiful, so powerful, so comprehensive if he's not deeply embedded in that reality? This is not, you understand, if he came after, then it's the evidence that the time factor is insignificant in this regard. Hare Krishna. Where's Madhusudan Maharaj? Help.
I'm here. I don't know how I can help, but if I can, Maharaj, we are here to assist, to serve. Wonderful, Maharaj. So happy, nourished to hear your words and to hear that vibration of Guru Maharaj and his expression. So, Maharaj, what would you like to do now? We are right in the center of Vrindavan. We're very close to, of course, the deities which are there, but also we're very close to the Radha Raman temple, Radha Goswami's.
I went, Paramananda, you told me something earlier, the sloka that Baladev wrote in praise of Vishvanath. I went to, this is very nice. You can say it clearly.
Yeah. One thing, Maharaj, you rhetorically asked, what are we doing on Vrindavan Parikram?
Oh, yes.
And remembering Guru Maharaj and hearing his words, we can say that Guru Maharaj said, this is our service while we are in the Vrindavan to acquire a proper angle of vision. So this is what we're doing. And we can only get it by the grace of the Vaishnava who actually possesses that angle of vision, who can explain to us how to adjust it.
Yes.
So the one who carries the dhara, he can give that. And maybe we're getting drops of it, or particles of drops, but it's super benefiting us. And this is what Vaishnavas are doing.
Yeah.
So in that connection, remembering Srila Narottam Das Thakur is lotus feet today. But Srila Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur, he composed several verses glorifying Srila Narottam Das Thakur. And one of the verses says, Stale, Stale, Yasya Kripa Prabhabhi, Krishnanya Trishna Janma Sahatinam, Virmulita Iva Bhavanti Tasmai, Namo Namah Srila Narottamaya. He's saying that what Narottam is doing, he's just traveling from one place to another place. And you said that not only West Bengal, East Bengal, Utkal, but Manipur, South India, everywhere. Where did he go? So wherever he goes, he establishes a wells or a water holes that are filled with that kind of that dhara, the substance that's coming through Narottam Das Thakur, the wells of Krishna Prema. So everyone who drinks and
that current,
the current, yes. So Vishvanath Thakur says, whoever drinks from that kind of well, extinguish and satisfies all of his desires, but for Krishna. The desire for Krishna only increases infinite amounts of time. So this kind of preaching, Srila Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur glorifying Narottam Das Thakur in such way. There's another verse that follows. It says, Bhakti Nishta Palareki Keva Sparsha Punar Sparshamaniva Yasya Pramanyam Eva Shutivatya Div Tasmai Namo Shiva Narottamaya. He's saying that his faith is like carved in stone, like words carved in stone. And his presence is like the touchstone. We hear so many stories. Wherever he goes, wherever he sings, people just observing him and they surrender. They didn't hear anything yet. They're just seeing Narottam Das Thakur. You want to surrender to his lotus feet. If they hear his singing, and another verse says, Gandharva Chapanas Valaise. He's Gandharva Garva Chapanas Valaise. He's defeating the pride of the Gandharvas by his singing. Even the most sober, the hearts of the most sober, their hearts are melted. They're joining that Sankirtan. So Narottam Das Thakur, and whatever he says is Pramanyam eva Shrutivadyadim. It's like the Vedas. And we can also say it's more than the Vedas, because what he is giving is not described in the Vedas.
Yes.
So those are the glorifications of Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Beautiful. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Narottam Thakur Jirba Mahamahotsavati ki Jai. Srila Lokanath Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Srila Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur ki Jai. Hare Krishna. And this is the Viraha Giti, but written by Narottam Thakur, but I think of it as like, so, you know, you worship the Ganga with Ganga. You take a palm full of Ganga and offer to the Ganga. So this can sing to Srila Narottam in honor of the disappearance of Srila Narottam Thakur. Jayani lo prema dano koruna pratu Heno Prabhu kota gela acharya Thakur. Kahan Moda Swarup Rupa Kahan Sanatan Kahan Dasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan Kahan Mora Bhatta Juga Kahan Kabira Eka Kale Kota Gela Gora Natara Pashani Kuti Bo Mata Anale Pasibo Gauranga Dunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo Se Sabba Sangira Sange Jai Koilo Bila Sangana Paya Kande Narottam Hari Hari Nama Krishna Radha Nama Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopa Govinda Ram Ki Madhusudan Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Dharadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasakura Jai Go Jai Kori Charana Bandhan Jaha Hoite Vignanas Abhishta Puran Jai Go Jai Jai Munita Udas Kansavada Padarenu Mora Pasagran Kandara Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivan Janame Janame More Abhilan Jai Go Jai Jabe Gaje Koiloban Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Kori Lokakan Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Bhajari Amon Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyan Hare Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narottam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Gaur Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Gaur Hari Bo Jai Gaur Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Gaur Hari Bo Jai Sri Narottam Thakur Tirabha Mahamahotavati Ki Jai Sri Lokanath Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Sri Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Jai Sri Parikar Sri Sri Guru Radha Gokulananda Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivraja Charja Satara Sada Sri Srimad Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Jai Saparikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Ju Ki Jai Sri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Rupa-nuga-dhara Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Das Thakur Ki Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Bhunityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Saraswati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Govardhana Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadip Dham ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat ki jai, Shri Gupta Govardhan ki jai, Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi ki jai, Om Vishnupad Vishva Bharanya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mata Charja Brinda ki jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Bimala Avadut Maharaj ki jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai, Sannyasi Brinda ki jai, Seva Brinda ki jai, Samaveda Bhakti Brinda ki jai, Nitai Go Premanande.
Jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna and Leela Sundari Didi and Govindadam Dandavat. Rupa Vilas Prabhu in the Philippines, Dandavat. The Siberian Tonks Bhakta Vrinda. With Balavanta Prabhu, Akadashi Didi, and others. I'm an old man, I can't see that well. And there again, Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj, Keshavananda Prabhu, Shanti Moi, all the Vila Govinda Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna.
Got some Ukraine back to the
Yeah, Dibya Shakti. Hare Krishna. Dandavatiri. And Govinda Land, I see Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Sundar. Namapriya Didi and Latvia Dandavat. Chaitanya Nitai Prabhu and Vrindavan Dandavat. Sri Leka. Devidasi Dandavat. Krishna. Kelly Kadambanana Didi and Abhinavasana Dandavat. Suresh Krishna Prabhu Dandavat. Kum Didi. My Dandavat pranam to you. Sri Hari Das and Isabella Dandavat. Hare Krishna in Brazil. Krishna Priya Didi Dandavat. And she's in Suvarna Bhoom, the Golden Land. Giridhari Prabhu, Dandavat. Janavi Didi, Ni Hao. Hare Krishna, she's in China. Dandavat. Jai Srila Bhakti Seva and Rishikesh Maharaj. Most likely in Abhazia. And there's Birjai Krishna Prabhu and Leela Mohi Didi in London, Dandavat. And Valentina is nearby. They just had a daughter, Pandita, and she's resting, but the divine vibration may be going on, and she has the well wishes. Think how many aunties and uncles she has who are affectionate well wishers. This child is just, going to be a receptacle of auspiciousness. Hare Krishna. Jai Pandita Devi Dandavat. Sushmita Didi Nihao, she's in China, Dandavat. The best teacher of all the children. Sulakshana is here. Nityananda Ram Prabhu in Colombia, Dandavat Prabhu. Sugandha Kanti, she's in China as well. She's learning the Damodarastakam. She's like determined to learn the Damodarastakam in the month of Kartik. So with the blessings of all these Vaishnavas, you will be successful. There is Elena, she is the mother of Jamuna. Hare Krishna. And Doyamoi, Dandavat. And she's offered her daughter in divine service, which is the best thing to do for your children. Hare Krishna. All right. Indumukhi and Minimukhi, Dandavat. And Sandeep, Maheshri and Janvi, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Praneshri Devi, Dandavat. Subhashini Didi, Dandavat. She's in Ireland. Where is Praneshri? Miami and Florida, perhaps. Soumya Sham Prabhu and Orsk, Dandavat. Dandavat, Hare Krishna. Leela Sundar Prabhu in Kiev, Dandavat. Ajita Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat. I'll be watching your video soon. Nanda Priya and Harkiv, Dandavat. Gaurachandra Prabhu, Dandavat. Sevarupa Devidasi and Mexico, Dandavat. Nalina Nayana And she's also in China with little Ram Sundar, Dandavat. Bratin Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat. By the way, I'm doing this because this is good for me to give Dandavats to all these Vaishnavas. There's hope. I still have hope. Seva Rupa Devi Dasi in South Africa, Dandavat. Abhiram Prabhu, Dandavat. Vijayanti, Dandavat. And Srila Bhakti Asrai Dandi Maharaj and team, crew, Dandavat. Ragaleka Didi, she's my personal physician and advisor. Tungarasa Devi, Dandavat. Madhavi Lata in Odessa, Dandavat. Jai Kumar and Charu Devidasi and Tarun Krishnadas, Dandavat. He's in South India, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Coimbatore.
Coimbatore. Well, this is truly an international movement. Gauranataraj Prabhu, Dandavat. Here, can I say this name properly?
Lais Bhakti.
Lais Bhakti.
Are we correctly saying that name?
Hare Krishna. Dandavat. Purushottam.
In Brazil.
Oh, in Brazil. Okay.
And this is Zoya.
Yes. Purushottam Prabhu in Salt Lake, my Dandavats. Where else?
We have Zoya. That's written in Russian.
Oh, Zoya. Hare Krishna. Dandavat. Banavi in Italy. Dandavat. Hare Krishna. So, is that everyone?
Yes.
All right. And once again, we can't say it enough. Bancha kalpa drivyascha kripa sindhu vevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. There's more, yes. If we didn't name someone, please forgive us. Innumerable Vaishnavas, Dandavats and obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna.